Welcome to the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. It's 21 degrees, partly cloudy in the Stampede City for the second meeting of the season between Calgary Wild FC and the visiting AFC Toronto. I'm Signa Butler alongside former Canadian Youth International Jess Lisi today on CBC Gem. Thanks for joining us. And Calgary Wild, they're coming in 8 days of rest, but one thing that AFC Toronto will be wary of today, Jess, and that is the flank play.
It is absolutely. Last time these two teams met, we saw what Calgary could do on the flank and cause problems. I would say within that first 20-25 minutes, they were all over Toronto. They were creating overloads, and they were very much overwhelming their back three. So I think that's something that they have to focus on today and continue to do so. Come out front-footed right from the start. As you said, Signa, they've been off for 8 days, a long time, so they have those fresh legs. They have to use that to their advantage. And it's also what they're doing when they're getting the ball out wide. How are they able to capitalize on it? Getting the ball into the box, striking it, and getting it into the back of the net, hopefully. So it's a matter of them bringing that tone right from the start.
And one player who's certainly been a standout this season has been Sarita Thurton. We see her there in warm-up, former Canadian Youth International, been to a couple World Cups. Looking for her first goal, though.
Yeah, she has been a bright spot for them. I think every single matchup we've been able to mention some sort of impact that she's had in her team's success. She is somebody that is going to be key for them today, again, with the flank play, and her delivery in the box has always been great. She picks players out. She hits with the right amount of juice behind the ball. She just knows exactly what she needs to do, and she's a very smart player. So I'm excited to see her bring that flank alive today and hopefully get on the board.
Yeah, looking for that goal is always a mystery sometimes. AFC Toronto, they lost 4-0 to Ottawa, but a bounce-back performance against Vancouver included 3 goals, plenty of them bangers.
Yeah, there's another look at this goal. Emma Regan, stepping up to really set the tone for her team. It's hard to bounce back from a 4-0 loss. It was their poorest performance, I would say, to date. So for them to step up and bring that mentality, there was great combination play. You see her with Hunter being able to get that goal inside the box, Pickett doing what she does best, which is breaking up play and combination play. There was just so many bright moments for them. They really lived comfortably in Vancouver's attack. Not attack. They moved very comfortably in their third. And I think that they continue to bring that tenacity to that final moment. And that's what really separated them from Vancouver in the end.
Well, with Nikki Small getting her first of the season, Kaylee Hunter, the 17-year-old, playing in front of friends and family today, the hometown kid from Calgary. 2 goals on the season for her, and she'll be looking for a big performance today.
We have seen her make an impact off the bench, as well as when she's starting. She's somebody that always brings energy, and you can see how much she loves being out there. She has fun, as Coach Milanovic really referred to it. He said to us, it looks like she's a player that just comes out, she has fun, she enjoys it, and that's what is so great about having youthful players in and around your team. But she's definitely a bright spot. She has such a bright future ahead of her, and she's definitely a threat today that Calgary needs to be aware of.
Well, the second meeting between these two clubs, AFC Toronto and Calgary Wild FC, is on the horizon. We'll have the starting 11 straight ahead. Stay with us. Calgary, Alberta, and McMahon Stadium. The Stampede City is the place to be for the Calgary Wild FC. They're hosting AFC Toronto today as we get set to bring you the starting 11s for today's match. For Calgary, 2 changes, notable ones. In goal, Jackie Burns comes in for Steph Bukovic, first start of the season, and Keelan Stewart, first start of the season.
I think having more back in the lineup is huge for them. Having that structure and that leadership in the back line will be massive, especially playing alongside Tilly James, who hasn't been as big of a player for them so far this season. She hasn't been getting those minutes, so it's great to see Moore back in there to provide that structure. I'm also excited about this right flank, I think, between Storty and Thurton. We mentioned earlier how important it is for that flank play, and I think those 2 players can really help bring it alive on the right side.
Well, it's Dads and Grads Day at McMahon Stadium, and the newest grad from Bishop Carroll High School is Tegan Stewart. Tegan, it's not every day that you score your first professional goal and graduate from high school. How much of a whirlwind was that for you last week?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really crazy, actually. Hard to believe, too. But yeah, no, it's really exciting for me. And my family and friends got to celebrate with them, not the night of the game, but over the weekend. Definitely got to celebrate with them. And yeah, no, just crazy, and yeah, just super thankful for the coaches and my teammates for all the support that they've been giving me and my sister over the past couple of months.
You're 17. You've made an impact already with the Calgary Wild, whether it's off the bench or getting a couple of starts. Your twin sister gets her first start today. How much does it mean to you to be able to experience your first pro season alongside your sister?
It means the world to me. We've dreamed since we were little girls to actually play professionally, and for us, we can't actually still believe it that we get to do it in our hometown in front of our family and friends who have supported us for many years. But yeah, it's for Keelan and I. It's been always a dream, and hopefully we get to share some even more special moments on the field together this season.
Awesome. Thanks for this. Good luck today.
Okay, thank you.
For Toronto, one change from their last match against Vancouver, and that is Ashley Cathro out of the lineup at left back. Sarah Rollins comes in.
I think Ashuri and Barnett are going to have a huge game today. We saw last time these two teams met, they sort of dropped in a 5-3-2, having to adapt to the threats that Calgary was providing. So their awareness today in defensive, and their defensive abilities will be massive. I also think Okoronkwo has been a player that's shown so much off the front recently. So I'm excited to see her come off the front and really work well with Hunter together and just be able to get another goal. We haven't seen her score in a couple games, so I'd love to see her get back on that goal.
Don't tempt her. Don't tempt her. Well, between that partnership with Kaylee Hunter, the Calgary native, playing for AFC Toronto, we caught up with her ahead of the match. I'm joined by Kaylee Hunter, pitch side. This is a tight turnaround for your team right now, but you've got one win on the road. What's it going to take to lock up another road win against Calgary today?
I think our biggest thing was coming into it was recovery after Vancouver. You know, it was lots of time traveling, but now that we got a training session here in Calgary, so we got settled, and now we're just hoping to get 3 points out of today.
You're a Calgary kid. You get to play in front of, in your backyard, in front of family and friends. How do you kind of compartmentalize that and focus on the game at hand?
For me, it's very special to be back in Calgary. You know, it's a dream come true growing up here, playing the game that I love and falling in love with it here. So obviously it's super special, but for me, I'm just kind of try to push that aside when I'm on the field and just try to do the best I can to help contribute to my team's win.
Thanks for this. Well, the fans on hand at McMahon Stadium waiting for kickoff here. It's been 44 days since these two teams last met. May 1st, it was AFC Toronto with a 2-1 victory at York Lions Stadium. Now the Wild at home looking for revenge. AFC Toronto kicking off this match, and as we bring in Jess Lisi, I'm Signa Butler here on CBC Gem today for this Northern Super League game. We're expecting both teams to come out on the front foot. AFC Toronto, their third match in 8 days, while the Wild haven't played for 8 days, Jess.
Yeah, that's a big difference, and I think that today these two teams are coming in with, contrasting realities. So they're having to deal with that and the mentality difference between that. So I think Toronto is coming into this knowing that fatigue will potentially play a factor, most likely play a factor at some point in this game for them. So it's a matter of letting the ball do the work. They have to be precise in their decision making and their execution to allow them to save their legs a little bit longer. Whereas for Calgary, they really need to come out on that front foot and apply that pressure, get numbers forward, and just bring that fatigue out of Toronto. That's sort of going to be key for them today.
Ball played over top. Michaela Moore back in the lineup after international duty with New Zealand. Quick throw in. Okoronkwo. Quick Give and go with Nikki Small. Still Okoronkwo looking for Small. And Savitsky does well to win that back, but not quite. Small. Ball just squiggling around in the box. And no one knows where it is, but Jackie Burns, getting her first start of the season, picks it up and bodies down after that spout of confusion inside the Wild box.
We spoke about wanting to see Calgary come out on that front foot, but we're seeing Toronto right now too, bringing that mentality and that intensity to this attack, getting numbers in the box, putting their body on the line. A bunch of bodies hitting the ground. Kaylee Hunter doing a full flip there.
So Jackie Burns, the goalkeeper, down. Tilly James, who was critical on that tackle, also down. And the medical staff's out early, so both teams hungry for goal and hungry to prevent goals in the opening 3 minutes of this match. Jackie Burns from Cookstown, Northern Ireland. Over 50 caps for country, most recently played in their series against Poland and Bosnia-Herzegovina. Not necessarily the start both of these teams wanted off the start of this match. Calgary's medical staff busy to start the match. As both of these players get medical attention right now. As we mentioned, these two teams last played May 1st. AFC Toronto with a 2-1 win. Coach Lydia Bedford's side, we talked to her just yesterday, and she was saying there's been plenty of evolution of the Calgary Wild team since that last game. We see Stephanie Bukovic, who's played every match for the Calgary Wild, warming up, as well as Sonia O'Neill, who played 90 minutes at center back the other day, so it looks like we may have some early substitutions. They're not taking any precautions with players' health right now, so another look at what happened here. Oh,
He's in contact there to the head of Burns. Looks like she might be okay.
So Burns is up on her feet. Tilly James will walk off gingerly. We'll see what happens if there is a substitution called in. We'll get that to you momentarily. But both teams, you know, when something like this happens in a game, you almost have to have a full reset. That's often when goals or mistakes happen.
Absolutely it is, Signa. You're very right there, and I think that we're seeing the aggressiveness from both sides and the fact that they're having the mentality that we mentioned wanting to see from them, coming out front-footed, but also the aggressiveness to keep the ball out of the back of your net. I think that we're seeing that from both teams right now, and it's a matter of being able to calm yourself back down and center yourself, as you were saying, to just play your game and let the rhythm of the game take course and not get caught up in a kerfuffle like that.
Sophia Manor backpedaling and playing it out to Emma Regan. Pickett moving forward as she's so good on the ball and draws a foul.
We have to start taking note of how many people have to stop Pickett by fouling her when she has that ball 1v1 and running at full force at you. She's a very difficult player. She's shifty, but she has so much pace as well. You have no choice sometimes but to take her down.
Lovely switch of play. Emma Regan to Nikki Small, cutting back. Getting the ball across goal. It's not out of trouble yet. The ball in, stopped by Burns, and she spilled it and had to hop on it quickly.
Burns needs to be able to hold that and secure that. There's no way that you can be letting that happen, especially when you're seeing this Toronto side very hungry. You have players like Okoronkwo and Hunter in front of you. You have to be able to secure that and not give them a second chance at goal. Here's another look at it. Nikki Small doing what she does best, showing her craftiness, gets that ball in. And there's a shot off here by Barnett. Hunter there, not too far off of Burns letting out that second rebound.
Barnett winning this one-on-one duel. The cross in, not cleared. Small had a shot. Cleared of the way. Hansen makes sure that heads out of bounds. Roy Soto getting her second straight start in the AFC Toronto lineup. Quite a bit of rotation in the back three for Toronto this season. Marko Milanovic telling us the other day that he hasn't quite set on his starting three yet, and it's not an ideal situation, but these players keep pushing each other in practice, so you have to reward them with playing time, but at the same time he wants to get chemistry going, so it's still a work in progress.
And I think in the back line, those are the spots you don't really want to see rotation in. You're typically seeing rotation in forwards or potentially a midfielder here and there, but your back line is typically the same from game to game. So the fact that that is the one area that we've been seeing a ton of rotation for him says a lot in how he's not confident.
Rollins over top to Okoronkwo. It went over the tippy top of the fingertips of Jackie Burns. Got the hands up just in time.
Okoronkwo is a player that's been active off the front of play, but we also know she's very dangerous in sneaking in behind and getting those chances off. That was a great ball over top, the recognition to find her. She's just not able to keep her body over it. It seems like she leans back a bit too much and really overthinks it in that moment, but we know she's capable of scoring that, so you cannot give her another chance to get that one back.
Colby Barnett on the corner. Low into the near post, cleared by Michaela Moore.
I'm sure she's happy to have a redo on that one. We've seen Colby Barnett and the quality she has with her left foot to get those balls into the box and put good delivery in, so that was definitely out of character for her.
So a mulligan for Barnett, as referee Isabelle Duclos having a few words with those around the 6-yard box. Keep their arms off each other. All tangled up in there. In comes the service to the near post again, cleared away by Allie Green. Rollins getting it to Small, but so Tilly James is leaving the match. Christy Gray coming in. So may see a slight formation change from Calgary as well. Savitsky battling with Small. Small going around Gray. Does so well to get on the line, and then getting the cross in. To Green on the right side. Looks like Christy Gray is going to slide in
to the left foot.
To left part.
Yep. And you're having Green sit in that center back role and take over James's duties.
Some earlier adjustments for Lydia Bedford on account of that injury to Tilly James. Just 3 minutes into the match.
But this also showcases the importance of having players who have versatility and have experience in these moments. Sometimes you don't want to use a sub, let's say, and you can shift different players around. We're seeing Green, obviously she's playing a fullback role. Normally it's not too different, but at the same time there's a lot of fullbacks that don't like being centrally. So for her to have that ability and that experience to step in there and do it without any questions is massive for this Calgary side.
Manor having to clear that away. The through ball from Michaela Moore. Look at Coach Lydia Bedford. Took that position beginning of January. Ball given away in the midfield. Savitsky turning patiently back to Green. To your point about having players with that versatility, Gray having to play wing back the other day in their last match, actually not the other day, but their match against Halifax 8 days ago. Sonia O'Neill coming in at center back for 90 minutes, normally a midfielder, so having that flexibility. It's a 25-game season in the Northern Super League, so plenty of professional football. You do need to have rotations and rest. Rollins back to Manor. Gray off the back of her head, and foul goes the other way.
Another thing you're seeing, and we saw this last matchup, but Toronto is sitting in a 3-5-2 offensively, but defensively they shift into that 5-3-2, and you see both Nikki Small as well as Barnett drop back to help with those flank threats that Calgary has, and they know that they have. But Coach Bedford also mentioned to us wanting to get more numbers on their back line and apply that pressure. So we are seeing that, and we're seeing Toronto adjust in real time.
Regan will poke that back to Rollins. Rollins looking for a ball over top. Hunter is there. She's not afraid to get in. And it will be offside. And Hunter taking the ball off the face. Nice challenge with Burns. Kaylee Hunter, the Calgary native, 17 years of age. Youth international at both the U17 and U20 level, and I'm sure the U20s would have loved to have her for the most recent CONCACAF championships. Not that they needed her, because they did win for the first time in 17 years, but that just shows you some more players that the Canadian youth team has to draw upon. And the shirt tug will be an automatic yellow card for Emma Regan early in this match. So into the books, the Toronto captain, I should say, Canadian international Emma Regan.
Here's another look at it. A very intentional shirt pull from her. She didn't do much to hide it from the referee, so that is expected.
Molly Green switching the play. Grace Storty. Nice give and go. Thurton has the ball. Defended well by Toronto. Quick throw.
Yellow card received by AFC Toronto, number 8, Emma Regan, to 15 minutes.
Doherty Howard tried to flick it forward and offside. AFC Toronto collapsing on Doherty Howard, knowing that she's a linchpin of the midfield for Calgary.
Yeah, she's been a bright spot for them on both sides of the ball, I think, through the entirety of the season, and probably the most consistent player for this Calgary team. The leader that she is has been showcased in the tone that she sets for them. You see her constantly, telling her players where to be and what to do, but in her own abilities and how she goes into tackles and puts her body on the line, she's able to set a great example, as you can see right there. Puts her body on the line time and time again.
Referee plays the advantage, and Esther Okoronkwo. Not the ball that she was looking to play, but a little bit of time in the offensive zone.
I also mentioned earlier, Signa, the importance of Toronto finding the precise pass and being able to execute well early, because I think when that fatigue kicks in, you're going to want these chances back when your legs felt a little more fresh. And it's a lot harder to produce quality chances when your legs are feeling heavy and you're not quite at the top of your game. So Okoronkwo has to be more clinical in that attempt. She has to get the ball across 2 numbers, running in the box. There just has to be a bit more of that edge and that sharpness in the final third for Toronto early on, because again, I do think fatigue will play a role at some point, probably later into the second half.
Hansen with the errant ball into the midfield, controlled by Savitsky.
Savitsky was also a player that was very much missed in their last matchup. She's been so great to be an outlet for them in that true 6 role. She does well to deal and break up play, but also in the attack, she constantly provides an option, her movement off the ball to find those pockets and float and just occupy space at times to create more space for her teammates. So she's definitely a very experienced player, but she makes such a difference and an impact for them when she is in that midfield role for them.
Savitsky was on international duty with the Philippines, her 34th cap. They lost 1-0 to Chinese Taipei. Small, nice cut back. And on the attack, Small. Nikki Small in close and goal, and she makes! Jackie Burns, it's that simple for Nikayla Small of AFC Toronto. And the visitors are up 1-0.
Okay, Signa, I just need to say this. How many players can say that they've scored 2 goals in a row that were Megs?
Nikki Small
I mean, wow. Nikki Small has shown time and time again what kind of quality of a player she is. She showcases her craftiness. We'll get another look at it, but just such a strong player for this Toronto side, such a threat, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Being precise in the final third early. Put yourself on the board and give yourself a chance to get ahead of what might get more difficult later on. Here's another look at it. She does well to get here. She cuts back, continues to go forward and says, I'm going to take you on again, and then makes no mistake to place that home right through the legs of Burns.
2 Meg goals in a row for Nikayla Small. So 2 goals on the season for Small. The 22-year-old from Pickering really has been one of the bright spots in the league this year. Former Canadian Youth International.
AFC Toronto goal scored by number 4, Nikayla Small at the 19th minute.
Small also with 3 assists on the season, so not just producing, she's setting them up too.
She also does a lot of the work that you won't get a stat for. You watch her off the ball and her tenacity in both the attack and defensively. She does not give up. She does not let players by her. If she makes a poor pass, she is going to be on you right away to not allow you to create anything dangerous off of it.
Grace Storty, the foul, and we'll see the book as well for the shirt tug. Two players in the books, 1 for each side, and a free kick for AFC Toronto.
You have to mark in between.
This is another great opportunity for Toronto.
Ball chipped in, and a head on it, which will go out for a corner kick. Burns organizing her penalty area. And Barnett again on this corner. Seeing her go near post. What's it going to be? Barnett. Bar to the far post, and Esther Okoronkwo almost an open header there and puts it wide.
That was a service that we typically see from Colby Barnett. That was a great ball in, driven straight to Okoronkwo's head. She's not able to redirect it towards goal, but getting on that and winning that first ball is also important. So I think that if they continue to do that, get good service in, and be able to get on the end of it, another goal is definitely coming their way.
Thurton. Nice first couple touches. Nice combination with Savitsky and Thurton. More to the captain, Doherty Howard. Playing up over top. A streaking Storty. Storty, the ball in. Manor easily corrals that.
That's a perfect example of there is that space and that vulnerability when they get numbers forward on the flank, but it's a matter of being able to execute that final pass and get a better delivery in. You see there, I believe it was Steer who wasn't able to quite get her head on that. She overran it, but Storty could have pulled that ball out a little bit further and not made it as easy for Manor to come out and collect.
Doherty Howard checked off the ball by Small. Right in front of Duclos, the referee, so not going to get away with that one.
It's another example of Nikki Small putting her body on the line. Obviously, I don't think she wanted to win that foul, or have that foul go against her, excuse me, but she is a player that is going to go hard every time.
Now this may look like it's out of range, but Doherty Howard, great service, and Calgary, as we know, excellent on set pieces this season. The ball's in. Takes a double deflection into the hands of Manor. But Coach Marko Milanovic of AFC Toronto saying that they need to win the set piece battle today. Need to have a clean sheet in set pieces, so.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, you keep an eye on that part of the game today.
That has been Calgary's strength, I would say, in many moments throughout the season, and that has been Toronto's vulnerability, specifically in the last few matchups.
Small earning the foul. On the ball. Looking for Hunter's foot. Just out of reach. Steer and Stewart. Keelan Stewart. Nice little ball forward to Thurton.
Great run across by Thurton, and that's when all that space on the far side is open as well. She created so much space that someone could have ran into that gap and had that ball not gone to her. Potentially someone's running on a breakaway. It is difficult when you're coming across the field that sometimes she didn't get the most perfect pass where she's able to turn Rollins and really run at goal. I think if someone was able to get in behind her there and expose that space, they could have created something much better out of that.
Hunter winning the ball back. Looking for Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo's got a break. Storty managed to get a foot on it to disrupt that, but Okoronkwo still with the ball. The cross in! Past Hunter. Small though. Oh my, what a strike that is! Nikayla Small with a brace just over 25 minutes into this match.
An absolute stud. Small is an absolute stud. She shows it game in and game out on both sides of the ball, showing her quality once again. She gets a Meg goal and she says, that's not quite enough for me. I am going to come back and I'm going to score an absolute beautiful goal off of my left foot into that top corner. Okoronkwo does well to get this ball across. Hunter putting her body in the line, not quite able to get there, and Small recollects it and sends that straight into the back of the goal off her left foot. Well struck, well placed. Again, such a quality finish from her.
So AFC Toronto, third match in 8 days with a 2-0 lead over the home side Calgary Wild. Just what they were looking to do. This AFC Toronto beat up by Ottawa just a couple of days ago. 4-0, they bounced back with a victory over Vancouver.
AFC Toronto.
Right now on top. And Marko Milanovic saying, you know, they're in the right mentality, but he wasn't sure about their physical shape because of all the fatigue, but so far so good.
Here's another look at that goal again, showing her craftiness, taking them inside and striking with her left foot, burying it, giving Burns not even a slight chance to get there. But I think Signa, this heavily shows too the difference in mentality. I spoke about it and the fact that they were living in contrasting realities heading into this match. I think that Toronto struck the right chord. They came out front-footed. They knew what they had to do, and I think Calgary is taking a while to find their footing in this match. They're not quite applying that high pressure that we were told Coach Bedford wanted from them, getting numbers forward and connecting in that final third. You see here, they're trying to find feet, they're kicking it away. It's just a matter of them being able to play as a collective unit and finding their footing, because we know when they come together, they're a very dangerous team.
Hansen poking the ball back to Manor. Out for a Calgary throw.
There needs to be better movement on that. There needs to be more movement for the person throwing the ball in. There's just absolutely no way Christy Gray is finding anyone's feet and being able to deliver a good throw in when the only option is Steer coming full force ahead with a defender on her back.
Shuri to Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo on that favored left foot, looking for that left-footed strike, and a timely tackle by Ali Green, but out for another corner kick for AFC Toronto.
That could have been very dangerous. We know Okoronkwo and her left foot and being able to score those bangers from outside the 18 as well as inside the 18. She loves to take players on. She's been very active for them coming off the front. Kaylee Hunter's been the one breaking the line, and they've sort of been rotating in that. But that just shows, again, what she's capable of and the threat that she poses. Coach Bedford was aware of that. She mentioned both Okoronkwo and Hunter by name to us in our call, Signa, and the threat that they pose specifically in transition. So Calgary really needs to be able to deal with that front two and shut them down to avoid any more dangerous opportunities.
AFC Toronto looking for more here. Emma Regan on the ball. Ball into the box. Headed away by Calgary. Savitsky getting it a little further up pitch. If you're just joining us, it's AFC Toronto up 2-0 thanks to a brace from Nikki Small. Nice breaking pass from Moore. Forward to Thurton on the right side. overtime. Doherty Howard over top.
Would have loved to see her take that down with her chest and give herself an opportunity to strike it on goal. I don't think it had enough power to redirect it with just her head. But instead of trying to play that back across to a teammate, it would have been a much better option to bring it down with her chest and strike, give herself some sort of opportunity on frame.
You're watching the NSL on CBC Gem, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Calgary Wild looking to get back into this match at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Moore pumps a ball over top, but Rollins will make sure that goes out of bounds.
Calgary's missing that final execution in the pass and the decision making. We're not seeing enough movement from their front three. I don't think anyone has provided a great option. You see Thurton at times come in and try to create that space on the flank or go down that flank, but there has to be more interchange and rotation to cause Toronto's backline more issues. Right now, Toronto's backline hasn't been having that much pressure applied on them, and I think that those fresh legs that I spoke about being so important, we're not seeing that from Calgary right now. So they need to somehow change into that second gear and be able to go full throttle at this Toronto side for the remainder of this half, because right now I would say Toronto has been doing a much better job at creating more purposeful movement and more dangerous opportunities when they are in possession.
Ashuri winning that battle. 3-on-3 here. Okoronkwo going 1v1. Doesn't need much room. Okoronkwo on her unfavored right side. Great stop by Jackie Burns in tight. Savitsky under pressure, won back by Okoronkwo. Finds Ashuri. And the back heel to Regan, takes a swipe at it. AFC Toronto putting the pressure on. Give and go with Pickett and Small, didn't work out. And Doherty Howard will just boot the ball up the pitch and hope for a reset here with 10 minutes to play in the opening half. Offside the call. Well, for Calgary, their leading goal scorer on the bench right now, Collie Johnson, a 21-year-old, I can say Matilda now because she has featured for the senior national team, in fact scored her first goal.
She sure has.
So has featured as a star with the U20 team and now featuring with the senior Matildas, picked up a knock while she was at the Matildas camp. And so she's available off the bench today, so might we see her in the second half? We shall see. But certainly she created a lot of trouble for AFC Toronto the last time these two teams met. Today that's Storty going down the right side. Throw in awarded to AFC Toronto, much to the dislike of the fans at McMahon.
But you're seeing it there again. Storty's driving forward. Steer is sort of standing, hoping that she's able to, create something and get that ball, but she's not moving. You have Stewart on the far side, some midfielders standing around. There needs to be more movement off the ball. You need to want the ball, and if you don't want the ball, you at least need to make the move so somebody else can get into the space you're in. That's the only way that they're going to move this Toronto team. They need to get them moving. They need to move the ball quicker. Let the ball do the work. I think that everybody, fresh or not, you want the ball to do the work. You don't want to be chasing the ball around like a mad woman. So it's a matter of letting the ball do the work, get into your spaces, turn and face forward when you can, create those combination plays, and get the ball in the box. And when you're there, finish it, hopefully.
Gray finds Doherty Howard. Looking for Keelan Stewart. Stewart lets it run. Still in possession. Out for a throw. tight defensively. Kayla Hansen called for the foul. So Doherty Howard on this free kick. Calgary looking for something. Green over top. Little too far into the hands of Manor. Barnett looking for a breaking small, and the line was tight by Calgary and offside from the assistant referee.
It's a good look by Small to recognize the diagonal run. She doesn't time it well enough. She almost got too excited to get forward, and I mean, she's chasing a hat trick, so I would get excited too, but just not timed well enough from her. But the recognition to get in behind and break that line when both center backs are occupied by Hunter and Okaranko is huge.
Deep throw in for Calgary. Bedford has her notebook out, conversing with her staff, trying to figure out what they can do to unlock their offense here.
Those are the moments the high pressure from Steer needs to be better. She can't allow Soto to be able to come out of the back and just dribble right through. The high pressure on this Toronto back line will be massive to find success. We've seen this back three, we mentioned it before, Signa, the rotations. There hasn't been anyone that's had a lights out performance, in the words of Milanovic. He's not too happy with.
Steer shielding. And the strike from distance goes wide. But Janaea Robertson had a go there, and she's got 2 goals on the season, both from outside the box. And maybe that's something to ignite Calgary.
Absolutely, and this is exactly it. If you apply that pressure, you take them on the back line, you get chances. And I think that Robertson's not able to redirect this directly towards goal. She can't get it on frame. She comes across it, her hips are facing away from goal, making it go just wide there. But we know that she's a player that can strike from distance. We've seen her score 2 goals, as you've said, Signa. They're both from the top of the 18 or just inside the 18. So getting the ball at her feet, getting the ball at Doherty Howard's feet, or whoever it might be, is where the goals are going to come from. So it's a matter of getting those numbers forward, applying the pressure to Toronto's back line, and not allowing them time and space to build out.
Oh, yeah! Moore with some time and space. Ball played through to Thurton. A little too far. Rollins will see that out of bounds. Sarita Thurton from Ajax, Ontario, so always a little bit special when you play your hometown.
It ignites an extra fire, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think for Sarita Thurton, we mentioned how important the flank play is, but I think because Toronto is dropping in that back 5 defensively, it's going to be difficult to just simply play the ball out there to her and have her go 1v1, which is what we've seen her do, and she drives end line and she gets great service in. But I think there's going to have to be more movement, more overload. You're going to need to get Storty involved, or potentially Doherty Howard, or whoever's on that side in the midfield, to help create combination play to free her up, because it's going to be very difficult to beat a Barnett and a Rollins who are very aware of her positioning.
Calgary lurking now. Shot from distance. Right to Manor. And the quick transition to Okaranko, dancing along the sideline, earning the throw-in. Under 5 minutes left in this opening half.
The transitional threat that Toronto brings is also something Coach Bedford mentioned to us in wanting to deal with. She knew that Kaylee Hunter and Esther Okoronkwo were two players that if you give them any time and space, specifically on transition, they will hurt you. We saw Esther Okoronkwo score an absolute screamer last time these two teams met, and it was a quick break for her. She made no mistake putting in the back of the net, so no time and space for her.
Tried the turn and just skipped by the foot of Okoronkwo. Ooh, risky play there by Allie Green. Does manage to switch the play. Christy Gray.
Love to see craftiness from defenders. Well, Christy Gray also, we know what she can do on the flank, so not too shocking from her.
Steer looking to play through. Thurton pressuring Rollins. Rollins gets it up to Small. But they're Small all the way back in the backfield. You know, you mentioned her work rate and how what she does off the ball. And I mean, that's that interchange play and not afraid to come back and track. Okoronkwo, that'll be a yellow card for Maggie Doherty-Howard, but she didn't want Esther Okoronkwo to escape.
To continue on your point, Signa, well, first let's look at this. Okoronkwo, you know, going in here, winning this. Doherty-Howard, it's a blatant foul. You can't really argue that one. But to continue on your point of Small, you saw too, she finds the space even when she has the ball. She dribbles across field to be able to break out of all of that mess that's on the far side. She's able to find feet, and then she gets the ball back again. So that is the IQ of her, that is the quality that she has, and just overall her ability continues to show.
And just for young players watching, keep your eye on number 4, Nikki Small of Toronto, just the kinds of things that she does with the ball and without the ball. And today, rewarded with a brace.
When your coach mentions the off-ball movement, that you're like, I don't want to do that, this is what you're going to turn into. Listen to him or her.
Nice turn. The ball played forward. Laid it into Thurton by Maggie Doherty-Howard. Thurton was trying to go one-on-one. And the call goes against her there. 4 minutes of added time in this opening half. Of course, we did have that injury break 3 minutes in. Tilly James out with the injury in a collision in the box.
Colby Barnett is another player, Signa, that I don't think we mentioned too much today. I actually mentioned it in their last game against Vancouver as well. She does so much work that doesn't necessarily get recognized by stats. She does definitely have some great stats, but you watch her and how aware she is of her role and the way she puts her body on the line time and time again. She's giving 100% effort 100% of the time. She's almost like an Energizer bunny. I don't know. I think she's played 90 minutes every single matchup. And the fact that she's been able to do that and bring that same energy from game to game without any ounce of fatigue. You see her wrapped up there in the quad, not too sure what she's dealing with, but she said, I'm ready. I'm going in. I'm going to bring the same energy I've been bringing, the same intensity. You can't hold me down. So definitely a very exciting player as well to pay attention to on your screen.
Another young player like Nikki Small is Colby Barnett, first-year pro out of California. Hansen was looking for a Shuri. Stewart tracks back and gives up the throw-in. Nice bit, yeah, nice bit of skill. Still on the go, a deep throw in now.
She pulls out all these great moves, but she looks so calm, cool, collected doing it. She's like, I'm cool. I got this. I'm just going to pass the ball around you in the air and bring it down easily.
Yellow card received by Calgary Wild FC, number 28, Maggie Jordan.
Regan under pressure. Escapes it. Nice turn by Hunter. To Okoronkwo, who's going to go from distance. Burns is there. Okoronkwo didn't get all of that, but anytime she turns toward goal, you have to think she's going for it.
The other thing is, regardless of the distance, we've seen her score from there. So you have to be aware of that. Calgary has to not allow the shot off. She wasn't able to get her best foot behind that one, but had she, we know what she can do. She's placed them in the top bins time and time again throughout this season. So they cannot allow that time and space, and that's one thing that was mentioned to us as well. Coach Bedford wanted better defending from her back line today because she didn't feel that they lived up to it last game. And right now, they're not showing their best foot, I would say, defensively.
Savitsky, a breaking pass to Robertson. And a great recovery from Pickett. And the call going AFC Toronto's way. Small. Hunter did well to stay onside. Hunter alone here. The cross in, looking for Okoronkwo. She'll track it down. And that will be the opening 45 minutes. AFC Toronto with a 2-0 lead thanks to a brace from Nikayla Small. Quick thought on that opening half, Jess.
I think that AFC Toronto did not look like they were fatigued. I thought that they came out on the front foot. They were hungry. And I think that Calgary really needs to fix some things up heading into the second half. They need to be better defensively. They're giving too much time and space to these dangerous players that AFC Toronto has in the attack, and they aren't finding the clinical edge that's needed when they are in attack.
Well, Coach Lydia Bedford there going back to the drawing book, but her team is a second half team, as she has said, and they're down 2-0. They'll have to come back. More from McMahon Stadium in Calgary when we come back. The North Star is the Northern Super League's new newsletter. Scan the QR code or visit nsl.ca for access to exclusive stories, NSL Finals presale, and much more.
That takes us way back.
When she like slide tackled me at the
Not
ankles.
true.
Okay, you want to tell them? We always like get this wrong. I think we were maybe like 9 or 10.
We've only actually like known each other for 2 months.
Now 10 Whitecaps, provincial team, basically.
CSS. We basically played everything together.
Yeah.
Up
And
until
now
college.
we're reunited.
Yeah.
Besties. No, you got it all. Besties.
Oh, see. We're gonna just keep the questions like that. We may or may not have practiced these.
What the heck?
You don't remember that? I told you this, baby. Best friends.
Blue.
Didn't even flinch.
This is important.
I don't even know what my answer is.
Is it the spelling doesn't count?
Oh.
Spaghetti. Spaghetti's good, but like, no.
No.
Steak.
1. You'll take it. That counts.
That was like not even, I don't think that was good.
What position would you want to try?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Why goalkeeper?
I don't know. I feel like you just chill, you know? You don't do a lot. It's just like, what's the game? What's the game? That just makes sense.
1.
Yes! I don't know why I know that. Why? Because I know you don't want to run. No, and I hate defending.
You're always here.
Okay.
We always climb trees. You're not good.
I'm not going deep.
See, I'm deep. I'm deep in it, and then she's.
That's like a real answer.
Oh, the snakes with my other one.
I'd second guess myself. I feel like you can get this one. I feel like you can.
I think I got
I
it.
think you did.
Okay.
I hope you did.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to know this.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good. Ice matcha latte.
Yeah, that's my girl.
I already know the answer to that. Yeah. Didn't even have to finish.
We looked
the other
together,
part.
so that one's pretty okay, you don't have to do that. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2,
I have so
1.
much confidence she's gonna get this.
100%.
Yes. I know.
Better
I
than
know. If you change it,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Soup.
Also,
CR7.
fun fact, she has a crush on Cristiano Ronaldo. She's 17. Cristiano Ronaldo is like 55. How old
Cristiano
is
Ronaldo's my idol.
she? Has a
Idol.
crush on him.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. She's basic, guys.
Ooh. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Currently.
Currently. Ooh.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Just
We said on this. We said no. No, you said SZA. No, you said yours was SZA.
Yeah.
She's such a good artist and singer. I got you.
I said mine right now
How
straight
is
up. I said mine straight up P&D.
This is the NSL halftime show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. At McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Alberta, it is the Calgary Wild 0, AFC Toronto 2, thanks to a brace from Nicaila Small early in this match. And let's take you to how things got started. It was Nikki Small just turning Calgary inside out on this goal.
This is the more you watch it back, you can't help but sort of laugh. The fact that she is able to score 2 goals in a row that were Meg goals. She does so well to show her craftiness, and she steps in there and places it between Burns' legs without any hesitation. She just has that recognition to be able to do so.
And this one started by Okoronkwo. She was looking for Hunter, but hey, if your second best choice is Nikki Small, I say that's pretty good.
And this is her anticipation and her awareness of where she needs to be. She recollects that ball at the back post, cuts inside, and strikes that with so much finesse to put it into that mid corner. I think that she is just somebody that continues to showcase her abilities in the attack.
AFC Toronto had the bulk of the chances at goal. Jackie Burns was certainly busy. Okoronkwo going to her unfavorite foot.
I think if I had to take a risk, I just don't want Okoronkwo to touch the ball in and around the 18. Favored foot, unfavored foot, she is somebody that can make things happen, but they were just absolutely all over them in that half.
But yet the statistics don't necessarily show that when you look at possession. But when you look at shots and shots on target, it is all about AFC Toronto.
And it's a matter of being purposeful with possession. I think that's the biggest difference, Signa. It doesn't matter if you have 57% possession. If you're not doing anything with it, you might as well not have it. You might as well be the one defending. So I think that AFC Toronto was purposeful with their possession. You're seeing them get 11 shots, 6 of them being on target. They're up by 2 goals right now. They did a lot more with that first half than Calgary did, I think, and Calgary really needs to step it up in the second half if they want to get on the board.
Well, second half is coming up between Calgary and Toronto. That is just ahead. But the fans at McMahon Stadium hoping for some goals in the second 45. We shall see what in store.
It's the goal we've been waiting for.
That is a highlight we will see over and over and over again. That is absolutely world class. Oh my goodness.
We were still playing into the finals here this week, but always nice to be home and be back in the hometown here.
Josh, I'm just going to get it off the top. I know that you were part of a big press conference in the fall, but why the Wild FC and the investment?
Yeah, I think for my wife and I, we love sports, obviously, hockey, but sports in general has really been my entire life. And growing up, in Calgary and seeing the Flames and seeing a pro sports league to look up to as a young boy, I mean, that was something that was attainable for me in my sporting life. And, until now, that hasn't been an option for women's sport really across the board. And obviously with the PWHL, introducing a few years ago, this opportunity to come in and give young, soccer players, an opportunity to look up to, female athletes and, a high-end league was really something that was exciting. And to be honest, just, I love sport, and it was an opportunity to be involved on kind of the other side rather than as a player. So I'm just excited to be a fan and watch, really high-level soccer.
And I know you're born and raised Calgarian, so what does it mean to have a professional women's sports team within the city now?
Yeah, I think it should be a real sense of pride. I know it is for me as a born and raised Calgarian, and on a broader scale as a Canadian, having a professional women's league. I mean, when I was kind of introduced the idea of being a part of things, I couldn't believe that when you started to see how many other countries had professional women's soccer leagues, and we did it in Canada, especially with the success that our Canadian women's team has had for a long time now on the global stage. It kind of blew me away. So to be a part of a small part of bringing a team here, and obviously being a part of the league here in Canada, I feel a lot of pride in that, and I think Canadians should as well, and will as well. And again, when you get to see the quality of soccer and players that are already here in the league, it's great to watch, and definitely people should get out and check it out if they haven't already.
Yeah, you mentioned that when you started to learn about what professional soccer options are out there for women around the world. Did that conversation come from your teammates, your European teammates, or are you talking about women's sports?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for my like soccer knowledge, I mean, I grew up playing like a lot of kids, and then kind of hockey took over. And I didn't really follow professional men's or women's other than really the Olympics, and a couple of trips to Europe kind of changed that, going to some Premier League games and some Champions League games. All of a sudden it really sparked my interest, and so again, to have the opportunity to be involved in the Wild here, and it's really exciting. And as you mentioned, talking football in general or sports in general with my teammates, in the introduction of the league, it's exciting, and something that I'm just excited to be part of.
Yeah, you just talked about your goal coming out of this season at home, and being around the team. Can you just shed some light on your sewer ball skills?
Yeah, obviously, not everyone knows, but often we play before hockey games to kind of warm up and get loose. Sewer ball, we call it, or two-touch, or whatever. And the European guys have always kind of given me a hard time for my lack of skills and 2 left feet when it comes to the two-touch game. And so I actually have kind of veered away from the game a little bit the last few years, but just talking to the team, I'm going to have to get out to some practices here and see if they can maybe help out my skills. But, definitely I might have to practice before I play with the team here, because I don't want to get laughed at there as well.
Welcome back to the NSL Halftime Show presented by BMO. Second half is about to kick off, but let's get you updated on where the standings stand at this time. Montreal Roses on top, 17 points, thanks to a 2-1 victory over the Ottawa Rapid today. But just still a whole lot of parity going on in the NSL in its first season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're seeing Montreal find their footing once again. They went through a bit of a dry spout there and not being able to find the back of the net, but we're seeing that be broken up. But I think, you saw the Tides get their first win. We've seen them put out some great performances recently. Ottawa's been a team that's been solid, but obviously they weren't able to pick up the win today. So there's just been a lot of back and forth. Not sure who's going to be first every single week. I think I've mentioned this time and time again, but you just never know who's going to be at the top of that table, and that's what makes this so exciting.
Well, second half is about to kick off as the teams come back from the dressing rooms at McMahon Stadium. Renovated pitch this year, new turf field. Of course, this is usually the home to the CFL Stampeders. There is the star of the first half, Nikayla Small, 2 goals. But McMahon Stadium, also the home for soccer for the Calgary Wild. And they're going to be looking for a second half effort. Coach Lydia Bedford told us the other day her team often comes up with some of their best minutes in the final 20 minutes of games. She said it's not what we want to be doing. Obviously, they want to play the entire 90 minutes, but we do know that they are a second half team sometimes.
And I think that they have to really step it up. There was a lot in that first half that wasn't necessarily their best style. We've seen this team grow from game to game, and Coach Bedford mentioned that as well. She said from the last time these two teams met, she feels her team has dominated and grown so much in certain areas of the pitch. So I think that in the second half, they have to head into it with a different mentality. We didn't see them utilize those fresh legs, Signa. We spoke about that earlier in the first half. So I would love to see them really hone in on that, bring that aggression, bring that front-footed mentality, and get some chances. We haven't seen them really create anything dangerous to put this Toronto back line or Manor under any pressure.
Third game in 8 days for AFC Toronto. They've built up a 2-0 lead, and maybe the 8 days off for the Calgary Wild, a little bit of dust collecting, but they've shaken it off, and the second half is about to begin. One substitution for the Calgary Wild, and that'll see Keelan Stewart come out of the game, the 17-year-old, and into the game is Talia White, Calgary native. And we'll get a look on if any formation changes have happened as well. But certainly Calgary is in a hole.
I think it's about cohesiveness for this second half, movement off the ball, being able to stay connected through their lines, getting numbers forward when necessary, but also the decision making of when you have the ball and when you're out of possession, when to step, when to hold, just being all on the same page. They're allowing Toronto too much time and space. We've seen Okoronkwo have chances. She hasn't been able to finish them, but Nikayla Small stepped up and was able to do that for this Toronto side. So it's a matter of them really coming together and holding compactness defensively and finding that edge that's needed in the final third.
Foul called on Rollins. Doherty playing too quickly, wasn't on the same page as Sarita Thurton. So a wasted opportunity there.
There was no need to rush that. I think she thought that that option to Thurton would shut down. Barnett was obviously near the ball. Thurton had a lot more time and space than when Barnett is dropped in that 5 back. But I think that you have to make sure you're on the same page as your teammate, otherwise you're wasting a great opportunity, specifically when you're down 2 goals.
Shin or ankle clipped. Valley Green seems to be all right. Or not. Small dancing around again. Moving the ball up the pitch. Still hobbling over on the right-hand side, and AFC Toronto was looking for a through ball. Another player down. So I think we're going to see some medical attention just behind your screen.
You see Soto trying to drive away the attention from her foul and onto the fact that Okoronkwo was down during that. It looks like she's back up, which is great to see. A little bit of a hobble to her walk.
Talia White playing at right back. That right central back role nearly given away by Michaela Moore. And Savitsky did well to make sure that that wasn't trouble. So Christy Gray has moved up to the wing as she's naturally playing.
Kelly, that could have been you too, right?
That needs to be better. There needs to be more clean passes coming out of the back line. You need to be able to find feet there. That's like a 5-yard pass. It just can't be happening.
Robertson took down Regan. We've seen a lot of minutes. Emma Regan's played 90 minutes in the previous 8 games for AFC Toronto. Has obviously played with the Canadian national team, was featured 90 minutes in the match against Montreal, or sorry, against Haiti in Montreal. Hansen wins that back. Pickett, haven't said her name too much today. Getting involved. Barnett. Hunter. Going into traffic. She's fearless. That's what she wants to do. She's not afraid to go at you.
In that instance, I would have loved to see her drive end line or go to her left foot. She did come back across to where there was 3 players waiting for her and not wanting her to be able to create anything, because she has shown that she's dangerous in that final third. When she spins, she runs forward. So would have loved to see her go drive end line on that and get the ball back across, or go left and strike it.
Danielle Steer called for a foul after throwing Emma Regan down. 5 minutes into the match, Isabelle Duclos blowing the whistle there.
Seeing Regan in some discomfort there, holding her lower back.
Finds Doherty Howard cross field. Doherty, Thurton. Savitsky under pressure now. Could this be something for Calgary? Patient play. Savitsky. Savitsky trying to get a cross in, blocked. Garanko back to help out.
Calgary is not making their decisions quick enough. They're putting too much time and thought into the decision. It has to be quicker. It was great to switch that point of attack. You saw Savitsky recognize that, play that across the field, which causes a bit of space for them because Toronto has to shift. And again, you want to shift them out of their structure. You want to get them moving, make that fatigue kick in. But you're not going to do that if you take your time on the ball and almost stop the ball at moments. You're seeing some of these Calgary players, stopping the ball and just standing on it.
A nice through ball to Moore to Thurton. Finishing pass wasn't there. Thurton. Doherty gets to Savitsky. Doherty, the cross in, that's dangerous! What a header! Danielle Steer, her first goal of the Northern Super League. And it's a 2-1 game.
What a fantastic goal. This is the quality that you know you're going to get from flank play. This comes straight off of Doherty's foot to Danielle Steer, who was more than ready to get her head on that and redirect it towards goal, putting her team on the board. 2-1. This is where things need to pick up. The momentum needs to shift for this Calgary team, and they need to continue to create more opportunities. Here's another look at it. This is such a great delivery in by Doherty. Danielle Steer doing everything to get there, gets there first, and again places that perfectly into the back of the net.
Danielle Steer, former UBC Thunderbird standout in youth sports. Canada West's all-time leading goal scorer. So opens her NSL account with a big goal to get her team back in sniffing distance, although here comes AFC Toronto. Kayla Moore, great defending. bumped off the ball by Doherty Howard. Isabel Duclos says, maybe, do you remember you're on a card?
Regan has been taking hits from all angles in this half.
Rollins playing up the pitch to Okoronkwo. Small. Nice through ball to Kaylee Hunter, just a little too much on it. And Burns slides off her line.
Small read that so well. She tried to find Hunter on the run. She was able to thread it through, just a bit too much behind it. But she drives inside, causing problems once again. Every time the ball is at her foot in the final third, she's creating something dangerous for her Toronto team.
Doherty Howard giving and going. Savitsky looking for Thurton. Does she have a leg up on Rollins? And it'll be the goal kick. Substitution for AFC Toronto coming. Esther Okoronkwo coming out of the match and into the game, Jade Kovacevic. Third action of the season for Kovacevic, the first signing in AFC and league history. Had an injury to start the season and had to wait for her debut. Made her debut against Ottawa.
Coach Milanovic mentioned to us, Signa, that he was going to have to call on players on the bench today and that they were going to have to play a big role. So seeing Kovacevic come in is a great moment for her.
Kovacevic, the delivery across, was looking for Hunter. And Calgary handles that. Natalia White. Given away by Storty. And now given away by Hunter. And Christy Gray is on the go. Christy Gray. Storty looking over top. Has Gray with a header. That goes wide. More movement, more interchanging with the Calgary Wild. They're generating more chances in the second half. It was what you were saying they needed to do.
There has to be more movement from them. And to your point, Signa, there has been. It's been great. You see Gray here trying to get on the end of that and redirect it towards goal. There just has to be that final finish that they're missing right now. But they've been able, they got on the board. We're seeing a bit more movement off the ball. It is looking up a little bit in the second half for them, I would say. The momentum needs to shift fully to their side, put Toronto under more pressure, because this is where, again, we keep mentioning it, or I keep mentioning it, but the fatigue will start to kick in. It's only a matter of time.
Especially for some of those players who have played 90 minutes. AFC Toronto, as we mentioned, third game in 8 days. Players like Regan and Small, Barnett, consistently playing 90 minutes game in, game out.
And fatigue just, you know, causes you at times to make a poor pass that you wouldn't make. It's something that happens, it's very out of character for you, and that's something that a Calgary team can capitalize on because they are fresh and they are aware and they are very capable. So it's a matter of them really igniting that fire under themselves and being able to capitalize.
Storty and Barnett get banged up against each other. Doherty Howard, nice through ball to Gray. Gray, the cross in, first time. Here by by Soto. What a danger.
You see them arguing there for a potential PK. I don't quite think there was enough contact for that, but you love that they fight for it.
Hunter, the flick on to Kovacevic.
Too much there for Kovacevic. She had Hunter initially, could have played a nice little slip ball through, but tried to take too many players on herself. Being outnumbered, it's very difficult to create something on frame there.
Green, back to Moore. Doherty Howard again playing Gray through. Hansen closing it down. The cross in the box, it's hit well. Cleared by AFC Toronto. Doherty Howard tracks back to keep possession. Moore looking over top, finds Steer. Steer shielding. Savitsky closed down quickly. Calgary forced to start over. Pressure. Doherty Howard, space. Doherty Howard finding Christy Gray. Gray, oh, the touch escapes her. Doherty Howard, the creator, and Gray could not finish it.
It's little things right now that are missing for Calgary. You see a great ball through by Doherty Howard. Gray not able to get a good touch off of that. Doherty Howard here looking up, finding that space. It's a great run by Gray. She's right off the shoulder of Hansen. Hansen's not able to do too much, but it's almost like she's feeling the pressure of Hansen coming there, rushes her decision and takes a touch that runs out of bounds. But also, Signa, to go back to my point of little things not being done correctly at times, and you saw the build up to that where Doherty actually gave the ball away. Her body positioning was closed off. She wasn't opened up to the flank to recognize if she had an option. She ends up going inside and playing a square ball and gives the ball right away. Steer getting a ball into her and her body positioning not being great to create anything dangerous. Those little things need to be cleaned up.
Cross in, and it goes to Small. She tried to go on the half volley. Was looking for a hat trick, but nice ball movement by AFC Toronto.
Great ball movement by them, and one thing that they've always done well, I think, even when they weren't winning games in the beginning. You see it here. Great ball movement. Movement off the ball is also there. Small, creeping up in the back, staying off of Sorty's shoulder to be able to get that ball and strike it. She's not able to get her body over it or put it on frame, but she is always aware of where she needs to be to collect that ball if she's not the initial target.
You're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. AFC Toronto on the attack. That's Colby Barnett, that cutback so crisp. Cleared away by the Wild. Roy Soto will make sure that goes out of bounds. First international signing with AFC Toronto. Had some stints in the NWSL with Houston and Kansas City. Burns was looking for Storty. Again, lovely turn forward by Hunter. As Kovacevic. Small. For a throw. And with this fatigue, you mentioned earlier about letting the ball do the work for you.
AFC Toronto is a team that has a lot of talented players, but they also have a lot of high IQ players, and you see it. You see Small taking her time, looking up, recognizing there's no one, so she's going to keep the ball and she's going to recycle it. She's not going to force it and lose the ball and be caught in transition, because she knows that this Calgary team is supposed to be the fresh side, and they love transitional moments. They caught them a few times in the last game that way.
Hunter.
So Toronto just continuing.
Hunter, that shot goes wide.
I was going to say, Toronto continuing to bring that front-footed attack.
The 17-year-old Calgary native would love to score in front of friends and family. Burns had that post covered. Hunter. Trying to go 1v1. Does well to get the cross in. And she'll have another opportunity. Regan. To Hunter, going to the left foot, blocked. Ashuri trying to go 1v1. Savitsky had her closed down. Pass picked off. But AFC Toronto collects it again.
And one thing that Calgary has always done well is being able to lock out their box. They do well overall, I would say, this season to not allow crosses in and to clear those balls. But it's the build out of the back right now. The preciseness in their passing, it's just not going anywhere. They're trying to play to their fullback. You're seeing them try to fight Storty, and Storty is not able to get the ball. It's going out of bounds, or Toronto is reading the play and repossessing it, and that just can't happen. It has to be cleaner coming out of the back to allow them to create opportunities. You saw what happened when you get the ball to Doherty Howard and she's able to look up and face Toronto's back line, finding those gaps. Fatigue is 100% going to kick in now. You're already seeing it in moments with a Small or a Barnett not being able to drop into that back five at times, and that's where those chances, like a Gray being able to get forward and be running at the back line straight at Hansen, it's happening. It's because of the fatigue. So I think that right now they have to clean it up out of the back so that they're able to build and create more dangerous chances in the second half.
Behind the play, Jackie Burns down on the pitch, the goalkeeper for the Calgary Wild. So these athletes will take a Powerade break with 20 minutes left to play. Jackie Burns making her debut today. Stephanie Bukovic, who's been, I don't know whether you put money on the top keeper in the league, but probably you would on Steph Bukovic with some of the saves she's made this season, has played all 7 matches for the Wild. But Burns and Northern Ireland international, looking like she's all right.
It's quite a debut for her. She's gone down twice now and had to receive some attention.
Made a nice stop on Esther Okoronkwo in that opening half. AFC Toronto's on the ball now. Barnett playing over top to Small. They'll take their time. Kovacevic tried to run over it. And Michaela Moore was not fooled.
It's another example of Storty not opening up her body. She's being forced to go inside with her right foot instead of opening up here and recognizing what she has on the flank.
Barnett electing to go back to Manor. Hasn't been very busy today. But might she? Oh, Thurton's touch goes off of Rollins, so out for a throw. Danielle Steer, the goal scorer, coming out of the match. Fantastic header. Coming in is Tegan Stewart, 17-year-old. Great hometown story. Her and her sister Keelan, who got the start today, growing up in the Calgary area and signing their first professional contract with the Wild. And Tegan Stewart picking up her first goal of her career against Halifax last week, the last time they played.
Despite Tegan's age, she has been stepping up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we talked to her before the game, and if you missed the interview, she and her sister graduated the same day that they played that match against Halifax, and Tegan Stewart opened her goal-scoring account. She's had a couple chances, hit a post earlier this season. Doherty Howard on the corner. Headed away by Hunter. Ball bopping around. Finds its way to Nikki Small. White providing the pressure, making sure Small can't turn, but she does. Great footwork by Small, and Toronto wanted a foul. But that one on Allie Green by Nikki Small.
Small not too pleased about that.
Moore. Ooh, hitting Green on the back of the head. And AFC Toronto in attack, and it's Pickett to Kovacevic on her left foot, and Burns forced to make a save.
It's a nice save by Burns to come up big for her team in that moment. You see Pickett, who does so well in transitional moments for this Toronto team. She constantly shows her quality. This is another look at the foul on Green.
So a corner kick will be awarded to AFC Toronto. Emma Regan on the ball. Ball into the box, headed away by Moore. Soto pops it over top and drops into the hands of Burns. Doherty Howard swoops the ball up over top to Thurton. Thurton escapes Barnett. Thurton cuts it back. Stewart across her body and gets a shot off. It's blocked, and that'll be out for a corner kick. But some great play from Doherty Howard to Thurton. And that cutback that Coach Lydia Bedford wanted to see. Cutback, and then, well, she was looking for the far post, but that was a good option too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one thing that she shared with us, Signa, was that they've been sending their forwards to train 10 minutes of shooting before training. And you see here, that's where that bravery of Stewart trying it. Sarita Thurton does so well to get around Barnett and cut that ball back to Stewart, who looks up, goes left, and is able to create something out of it, now getting a corner kick out of it. But I think that bravery and that confidence is what Coach Bedford has been trying to gain in her team.
Doherty Howard headed away by Hansen. Haley Hunter on the run and looks for Ashuri. Backpedaling is Burns. Ashuri squeaking the ball through, and that'll be offside, but Kaylee Hunter will have a go anyway. Thought she had timed her run perfectly.
You see some frustration in her there, but she is definitely offside in this. We're going to take another look at it. She's not able to time her run well enough. Ashuri does well to come across. Hunter recognizing that space and being able to split the two Calgary defenders, but again, doesn't time her run well enough. The idea there is there, the execution not as much.
So Kaylee Hunter coming out of the game. Nyota Katembo into the game. Some fresh legs for AFC Toronto.
Seeing Toronto stay in their shape and their structure. That 5 back there, you can see it clear as day right now. The 3 across the middle and the 2 up top.
Oy, oy, oy. Well, that could have been some trouble there for Calgary. Burns was luckily off her line, but a slow pass.
The sharpness in the execution and the decision making has been off for this Calgary back line today.
Moore's having to slide over to that left center back position. Micah Rolfsma unavailable. Normally plays that position, and the two of them have created a really strong center back duo throughout the season this year for the Wild. So 2-1 game, 10 minutes and change left to play at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Same scoreline that we saw on May 1st, the last time these two teams met. And right now it would be the same outcome, but still plenty of time left to play. Small closing that down and winning the ball back. And tried the through ball. And Burns will be off her line to clear that away. Doherty looking for options. More to Green. Closed down by Katembo. Doherty Howard was trying to through ball to Christy Gray. Back to Doherty Howard. And Savitsky now. Thurton finding a running Storty, who is way up the pitch. Manor looks to have bonked her head here. Manor, who had a concussion earlier this season, so they'll keep a close eye there. Looks to be all right. Helsinki, Finland native. Quick break right now. More players cramping up on the pitch. Perhaps this is one of those moments where an unofficial timeout, as we know, there's no timeouts in soccer.
Yeah, I think, the last time these two teams met, Coach Bedford said to us she felt that they were the orchestrator of their own downfall. And I think that we're seeing it today. They're not playing their best soccer. They're not utilizing their strengths as well as we know they could. It almost looks like they're disconnected at times. It's that pass not coming off. In the final third, it's overhitting the pass or a poor touch. We saw again, going back to that chance that Gray had, almost a clear-cut breakaway off of Doherty Howard's great pass through. We're seeing the backline struggle to be able to make those 5-10 yard passes and clean it up. Yet Toronto continues to bring that front-footed mentality despite feeling fatigue, I'm sure. You're not seeing too many signs of it from them, I would say, in the second half, maybe here and there. But overall, it just seems that this Calgary side has so much more to give. We know they have so much more to give, and I'm sure Coach Bedford is telling them that as well, because they're such a great team. They've done so many great things throughout the season so far, whether that's bouncing back from losses or absolutely dominating a game from the first minute to the last. And today just hasn't been their cleanest performance. So for these last few minutes, it's about them really pressing Toronto and trying to get that equalizer and potentially that game winner.
So Maddie Wilson coming into the match for Allie Green, who's coming out. Allie Green had the goal of the week against Halifax, the third star of the week, but was also on international duty with New Zealand, so perhaps fatigue for her, playing a lot of 90-minute games for Calgary. Manor up the pitch. High looping punt. Brought down by Kovacevic, but retained by the Wild. Small. Gonna go 1v1. Instead goes to Kovacevic. Turns and brings it back to Colby Barnett. Rollins. Small nearly chased that down. Surprised she still has energy, Nikki Small.
5-4-1. You're on the left side of the floor.
Shayna Ashuri is going to leave the game for AFC Toronto, and Aoi Kazaki is going to come in, former Japanese Youth International. Scored a screamer of a goal earlier this season in a 1-1 draw against Vancouver. Five minutes plus added time left. Calgary Wild find themselves down a goal against AFC Toronto.
You're also seeing Toronto switch their formation to that 5-4-1 to be more aware defensively and hold this lead in the final minutes.
Zaki heads to Small. He's going to run some time off the clock, no rush. But that'll be a foul.
Already arguing there's not much in that, but it did look like there was a bit of a shove from behind there on Small.
AFC Toronto's not going to send many numbers up for this free kick, knowing they've got a precarious 1-goal lead on the home side. Small will just go down to the corner flag, but that's going to be offside. Moore. Back to Burns. And the foul will go against Colby Barnett, who's holding her calf. Gets herself up. Hobbles back. Tough stuff. And that ball will run too long for Sarita Thurton. Who herself is cramped up. Sophia Manor comes to the rescue. Referee Isabel Duclos saying, let's get on with it here.
And then when you come out, you go before the official, okay? Over there.
Approaching the 90-minute mark. Thurton will want to get back on the pitch, one of the offensive threats of the Calgary Wild. Doherty Howard looking for Maddie Wilson. Cleared away by Croy Soto.
It can be very difficult to beat a 5-4-1 with one singular pass into a lone striker, so I think that there has to be more ball movement, move Toronto out of their structure to be able to find gaps and stretch them, because there's no way that a singular ball into Wilson up top alone is going to really create a dangerous threat.
Ball bounces. Doherty looking forward. Stewart gives a run. Will challenge Rollins. Will try and ride this out. He does.
Rollins doing well to see that one out.
4 minutes of added time. And will this 2-1 outcome repeat itself from the last time these two teams met? Small down on the pitch. And Calgary in possession. Thurton's back on the pitch too. Thurton, the cross in, curling in. Hansen clears it. Is that going to go for a corner? Well, this is a late gift for Calgary Wild.
You see Thurton getting that delivery in. Nobody's crashing the box. There's still not enough hunger or grit to be able to get to that ball and challenge Toronto. Of course, they're lucky here that they're able to get a corner kick off of it, but had that been cleared out properly, that's once again a great opportunity gone.
Last opportunity for Calgary Wild. Savitsky's got a shot, blocked. Doherty Howard hurling the cross in. That's headed away.
Great pace there.
Great pace, and on the way is Victoria Pickett. And off her line is Jackie Burns. Pickett trying to get a shot off and maybe chip the keeper, but falls short. Just about 2 minutes left.
She had a lot of space in front of her, but so late in the game, having done so much running, the decision was probably based on the fact that that was still a lot of ground to cover, and why not try it from distance. It obviously didn't come off of her foot that great and didn't cause any sort of threat, but her ability to win the ball for Toronto and create transitional moments has been huge for them and such an impact this entire season.
Small. Edged off the ball, won by Doherty Howard. Calgary's got to move. Time's running out. Sarita Thurton looking for Wilson, and that will run out. Goal kick. One last opportunity for the Calgary Wild. Love to send their fans home happy today. Even a draw will do at this point. And that's the whistle. Same result as 44 days ago. It's AFC Toronto 2, Calgary Wild FC 1. Bodies playing on the line today, Jess. And we're seeing the pain of 90 minutes on a 20-degree day on both sides of the pitch.
A lot of bodies hitting the floor right now, Signa. But I think, overall, this matchup, the first half specifically, was dominated by Toronto. Calgary really didn't create any sort of threat for their side. We spoke about wanting them to utilize the flank play, but Toronto obviously adapted well, and having the five back there, regardless of fatigue, they were able to keep that intensity to the final moment and hold Calgary off. Calgary in the second half picking it up at moments, but they just weren't able to find the preciseness and the clinical edge that was needed to be able to put themselves on the board once again. Danielle Steer's goal was great. You saw her win that ball and put it straight into the back of the net. It was a great delivery in by Storty, but there wasn't enough great moments from this Calgary side today. Defensively, it was a little lackadaisical at times as well.
And the hero number 4, Nikki Small, the brace today, both first half goals for Nikki Small, now with 3 goals on the season. So a 2-1 victory. Let's take a look at the match stats for today's game, Calgary and Toronto. And, you know, the possession, we talked about that at halftime and how it may not show directly the outcome of this game.
Yeah, sometimes numbers aren't a true representation of what happened in the matchup. Anyone that watched that can definitely see that Toronto was, for the most part, in control. They were more purposeful with their possession. That was what I mentioned at halftime, and I stick by that in the second half. I think that Calgary brought a bit more purpose in the second half and a bit more of that front-footedness that Coach Bedford wanted to see from them early on. But 60% possession to 40 is a lot. It definitely was not the story that we saw play out on the pitch. A lot of that was them playing the ball alongside the back and keeping it in those safe areas. So not much threat coming from the Calgary side with that 60% possession.
Well, Nikki Small's 2-goal performance, the difference for AFC Toronto over the Calgary Wild today. Thanks for joining us for NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League.